Had no idea that the fighting that's been taking place on the practice field between the Lions and Giants is going to be taken on into the world of YouTube. Went on to the Chat Sports Giants channel yesterday to see what's going on, and they want to go against me in subscriber count, and they believe that their fan base is better than mine. I get in the air, just say what's up to the guys, and their fan base was tearing me up. So let's do a little bit of payback. On Thursday, we're going to be doing Lions and Giants game. I want to win sub count, views, and everything. So if you're not a subscriber right now and you're a Lions fan, let's show these folks that the Lions fan base is no joke. In today's video, we're going to be going over practice. What occurred? It got cut short because of fights. We're going to get into that, the latest injury news, everything that occurred on the field. Again, we're going to talk about the players who are injured, and there is a significant injury that hurts the Lions. A lot of players who didn't practice. That's what we're going to talk about. Lions offense, defense, and special teams. Overall, of what occurred. Let's get into the injury front. That's the most important part. No practice for Sam Laporta. He's dealing with a hamstring. It's not believed to be serious at all. A day-to-day type of thing. Brian Branch, individual drills. He's still doing what he's doing there. Kevin Zeitler, no practice. He had the shoulder injury yesterday. It's not serious. He will be day-to-day as well. Same with Malcolm Rodriguez, Afutu Melifonwu. Now, Emmanuel Moseley is 100% serious. Torn pectorial muscle. He could be out all the way until the end of the year. This is the same injury that had C.J. Gardner-Johnson. With that said, it happened now, and I do think he'll be back for probably, I would say, around week 12, week 13 time frame. Sucks for Emmanuel Moseley. He's not going to be in for a while. Kayuda Wusaka, not serious, didn't practice. Same with C.J. Moore and Zonovan Knight. Overall, when you look at everything here, when it comes to the injury front, sucks for Emmanuel Moseley, but everything else is precautious. Terrion Arnold also, he was practicing yesterday. He went into concussion protocol. It was not a concussion. He practiced, and we're going to talk about him in a minute. With everything that's taken place, though, question for you. How concerned are you for the Detroit Lions injuries? 1, if you're not concerned at all. 10, if you're freaking out. Let's get into the Lions winners here. We're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson first. He was the first winner on my list. When I look at what took place, the minimal spots on the field, he looked unstoppable. Matter of fact, I was up on the Giants beat writers, and they really wanted to see Aiden Hutchinson go on the opposite side because he was dominating, and they just wanted to see how well their offensive line could hold Aiden Hutchinson. He was absolutely tearing it up, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for sure, and that's a progression that we have seen from year to year with Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's taken that next step. He had 11.5 sacks this past season. I think he's going to get I think I'll take the over on 15. I think that's the type of season he's going to have. It has been consistent, and this is year 3 for him. He's going in the right direction to probably be up there with Defensive Player of the Year, so keep that in mind. But a good practice for him. I don't like spending a whole lot of money. I like to save money, specifically when it comes to tickets or concerts, and that's why I have Game Time, because they have killer deals and last-minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed, where you can stop stressing and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. Look, it's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. That's sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, or whatever, with their lowest prices guaranteed. That's the Game Kind guaranteed, which means you're always getting the best prices, and if you find tickets in the same area, section, low or less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. In the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of the app. It shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the surrounding area like a 3D live photo. So all you got to do is download Game Time, plug in Chat Sports, and you're going to get $20 off your very first purchase. Again, download Game Time, the app, go to the redeem code section, plug in Chat Sports, you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You got to create an account. You got to have an email to save that money. The information and link is going to be in the description and comment section of this video. So if you're buying Lions tickets this year, especially preseason, you're coming up, make sure you're using Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. Next winner on my list is a rookie cornerback, Terrion Arnold, and some of you may squint a little bit this at putting him in a winner after today's practice. But he is. I watched a lot of it plays. He did get a little bit burnt in the beginning of camp, but the second part, he was on Malik Neighbors, and he was knocking the ball down. And by the way, Malik Neighbors was absolutely tearing up practice today on the field and in fights. But I liked how Terrion Arnold stood his ground, knocked the ball out, and I like the fact that he really wasn't getting too angry or upset. Now, you're going to see some tweets saying that Terrion Arnold started a fight. I watched it. It wasn't Terrion Arnold. It was Kirby Joseph and Malik Neighbors get into it. Actually, Terrion Arnold was trying to break the fight up or just hold it back. All in all, though, I like the fact that he did get burnt in the beginning, but guess what? He made the corrections in the second part of practice, the second of the 3 parts. So I really like that. I like to see somebody that makes an error and that turn around and can fix that error, not just, you know, within a week or in a day, but the dude did is literally just a couple plays after. So that's really good for Terrion Arnold. He's going in the right direction, folks. He's going to get burned. This is going to happen with Arnold. Expect it, but you want to see him correct it, and that's what he did in practice today. I really like it. So I got a question for you. Name a Lions training camp winner so far. It could be anybody in the comments below. Next winner on my list is Daurice Fountain, and again, this is not necessarily just today because of practice was cut short, but I'm going to kind of put it in from yesterday and today. Multiple touchdowns for Fountain, and from what I'm hearing, he could actually compete for the number wide receiver 3 role. Okay, so he is really having a good camp, and there's nothing today that suggests he had a bad camp or suggested that he's in the wrong direction. I think he's going the right direction for Fountain here, and I truly do believe that I don't think he's going to take wide receiver 3. I think he'll get wide receiver 4, but he's made the team, in my opinion, and he has been an X factor. He kind of, when I'm watching and what I'm seeing from Fountain, is what I've been saying for, he looks like he's stepping in that Josh Reynolds role. Him and Jared Goff are really starting to get on the same page and having good chemistry. That is fantastic news for the Lions wide receiver room, as it looks like Fountain could be the replacement. Next winner on my list is going to go with Jared Goff here. Why is that? Well, I haven't heard anything negative today. No interceptions or anything. From what I've heard now, look, if something pops up after this video comes up, I guess so, but I've been monitoring it all day, and I haven't heard anything bad. I've seen a couple passes Jared Goff threw, really good completions to Jamison Williams, Zayden Hutchinson, and others. So I thought he had a good practice today, even though it was just a really, really quick practice because of all of the fighting. Last winner on my list, and we're going to get into other stuff going down about winners, but it's Kirby Joseph, and you're going to say, what? How could you make Kirby Joseph a winner? Well, I seen the play where the fight took place. Terrion Arnold knocked the ball down on Malik Neighbors. Terrion Arnold kind of went in his own direction. Malik Neighbors was walking past there, and then he bumped into Kirby Joseph using his hand. You could barely see it because there was a guy in a place, and Kirby Joseph responded, got into a fight. Now, look, I'm not big into having the fights, but at the same time, from what I saw, Malik Neighbors was starting a lot of these fights today, and Kirby Joseph was simply defending his man, Terrion Arnold, and responding back. Look, I'm not advocating for fights, but at the same time, you can't just be punked, right? This is the NFL. If someone's going to try to punk you, you're going to have to come back. Let's get into some other winners right here. And this is good for the Lions defense here. A rough first series for the Giants starters. The defense, full team. Daniel Jones and company ran 5 plays, first of the day after 7-on-7. Obvious sack and a dropped interception. No one obviously beat. Entire pocket collapse. Good job by the Lions defense there. Better in the second, or at least in the beginning of the 7-on-7s. Remember, 7-on-7s is totally about the offense, right? The offense is going to be significant advantage in 7-on-7. So good job for the defense right there. Tackles for loss and holding. A lot of the plays was happening on the defensive line. Good job there. Jones completed out to Malik Neighbors. Obvious sack, though. Levi Onwuzurike would have had a sack that wouldn't have been completed. Another tackles for loss. A new day today. No fights so far. This is early on in camp. We're going to get into it because it definitely got to the first team defense. At least 3 would have sacked. 11-on-11 Giants topped the offense. Play caller Brian Ball huddles the offensive line after getting beat in the break. So good job for the Lions players on this one. That was the first part of camp. It definitely goes in the wrong direction, and fights take place in the second part because there is no third part because of the fights. But good job by the Lions defensive line to play better, and Lions secondary play better besides Malik Neighbors kind of making some roasts here. And that's the thing we're going to get into here in a second. But before we do that, do you love our Lions videos? If you do, share it with your friends. It really helps when you share the videos out there. A lot of Lions content help a bro out. Now let's get into some losers here, and it's going to go back kind of a little bit. DBs versus Malik Neighbors, at least the first half of practice that they had. In the first half, Malik Neighbors was putting some torches on. He was getting it in there, and that's where the part where Terrion Arnold lost a little bit. In the second half, he did get better. The offensive line had issues against one Brian Burns, the player whom the Giants traded for from the Packers last year. Lions fans want to get. Apparently, he looked unstoppable. So that is definitely a concern for the offensive line. With that said, greatness versus greatness, you're going to have wins and you're going to have losses. Bad penalties for the Lions. Apparently, I had 3 straight penalties. We got to stop doing the penalties, the false starts, and the holdings. That stuff can't happen. Daniel Jones went 8 for 8 and 7 and 7 for the Lions. 3 catches apiece for Malik Neighbors and Wandale Robinson in the beginning of practice. That's something they corrected throughout the second half of practice, but it was not good. And Kirby Joseph throws punches. It's not for defending, but the thing is, you just don't want to have someone injured, and he was throwing punches at helmets of Malik Neighbors. I get it. Malik Neighbors started it, but we do got to be a little bit smarter than that, throwing punches against helmets. Why? Well, you're throwing punches against helmets. And one of the beat writers for the Giants, he put it this way: embarrassing lack of discipline for both teams at the end of today. After both coaches said they wanted to see less of it, basically had to cut last period of practice short because of guys on the sideline throwing punches. Lions running over to the Giants sideline, Khalil Dorsey and Kayvon Thibodeau exchanging late blows. Levi Muserika got removed from practice, and Malik Neighbors got removed from practice. That stuff is just... It is undisciplined. I gotta concur with that. I understand there's going to be fights and you got to defend yourself and your pride and stuff. But man, look, what's the point in fighting all the time, right? We just lost a portion of practice because of it. So they got to be better. With that said, this is training camp. It's what it is, right? It's going to happen. So I'm not too poo-pooing. I'm not upset or anything about it. I just wish there's a little bit more disciplined, and I wanted to see more practice, but again, that just is what it is. In my opinion, I think Malik Neighbors was instigating a lot of this, and I'm happy that Brian DeBall escorted him off the field. Same with, look, if Levi was starting or whoever, escorted him off the field. But we got some updates about preseason here. Talking about players who are going to be playing in the preseason, I got a little bit of an idea. Dan Coach said holding players out of their upcoming preseason games. Certainly some of the guys we know we're going to count on during the season. I don't necessarily see them playing. The Jared Goff, the starters, you're not going to see these guys play because there is no reason for it. I don't necessarily see them play, but if they do, many reps. But our young guys are going to get a lot of snaps, and developmental players are going to get a ton of these reps. And that's what you want to see, right? You want to see, even though Terrion Arnold's a starter, you want to see him get reps. Ennis Rakestraw get reps. The younger guys get the reps. Starters that are confirmed, that are veterans here, there's absolutely zero reason to play them. And so I agree with Dan Campbell on that. So expect a lot of starters not to be playing on Thursday. Doesn't mean you shouldn't watch the game. There's a lot to watch for, but just for the starters. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. Adios.